Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of a wine, therefore the nations are mad. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ukah Kadash. And we give a double honor to the elders and to the apostles of GMS Great Millstone who do rule well. And it's like to the hope for elect. It's Brother Damawa from the GMS Cleveland branch coming back with another video. All right, and it's Babylon in Jeremiah 51 is speaking about America. Okay, it has been a golden cup. All right, it has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. All right, and so this is why America in 250 years rose to supreme power. All right, it rose to the face, right, of the white man's army. Okay, and what I mean by that is America is not just alone in America. All right, you have the UN backing it. All right, and other nations, all right, cooperating with this whore, which makes it powerful. All right, and so knowing this, you have to understand that it was destined to do everything that it has done in the last 250 years. All right, but it also has an exit date. All right, so let's continue on reading. Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly falling and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. Okay, and so the Lord is telling you, all right, that when the Lord wanted this place to rise, it was a golden cup, but suddenly it's fallen and destroyed. All right, and this is what the result of what we're living in right now. All right, how we go from the country where you can go get a long list of food. All right, you can go do a lot of things in one day and spend the bare minimum, to just 3 years later or 4 years later from 2020, no, 6 years later, right? Now, one pack of ground beef is going to run you about $22. All right, to do one thing, to run an errand, is going to cost you in gas about $25. Everything has become from night to day. Okay, just in the matter of a short span of what, 5-6 years. All right, so if this place was able to stop, if it was able to go back, it would have did it already. That's why Trump was really put into office, to what? To make America great again. All right, but we're reading here in prophecy that that's not what the Lord has planned for this place. Verse 9, we would heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into their own country. Okay, and that's why you're seeing all these different people leaving America, all right, and going back to their own country. Okay, for her judgment reacheth into heaven, and is lifted up even into the skies. All right, and everybody can sense that something is about to go down over here in America. All right, or with America. Okay, they don't know exactly what it is, but I believe that's what Phil Collins, you can feel it in the air. I believe that was him. All right, but it's an old school song. You can feel it in the air. All right, and that tension, okay, and that just dysfunction. All right, that miserable feel. All right, that's in the air over here in America. Okay, and we're reading why it's there. All right, because guess what? It's not a golden cup anymore. All right, the Lord hasn't given that protection, America, that protection anymore. All right, to be, okay, in a peaceful, ruling, controlling mindset. Okay, now the Lord has these nations testing America. Okay, and it's only going to get even worse. All right.
And they're the only ones in the world, really, that are supporting the Palestinians in this very visible and meaningful way.
I just want to show people too, people really have to understand again, like, yeah, global conflict, this is going to impact all of us. We do get oil.
See, and that's the main part. It's going to impact you. Of course it is. Duh. Because guess what? This place is not that golden cup anymore. So meaning that at first, no matter what America did, this place had to be spoiled. They had to have years of pleasure, right? Of this dominance, okay? Because what that do is that breed a level of pride and arrogance that the Lord want these people at for when he destroyed them. He want the white man to think that he can't be destroyed when he's ultimately going to be destroyed. All right? So they're drunk off of power and years of rulership. Okay, and they think that they done seen it all. Their forefathers before them has left them patterns of what the people tried to do before. Okay, and these are the type of conversation and the things that the elites, son them and daughters them go to college for. They don't go to regular college, all right, because college and school is for the work class, all right, but the elites schooling, all right, is different. Basically, they teach the history of the control of their families, and then they pass it down from generation to generation. So the next one up to bat, right, would know to continue the family legacy so they can ultimately get to the point of what? Of their new world order. Okay? But the Lord has put he's put a wrench in their plan. Well, he didn't throw the wrench in their plans. Okay? And now, no matter what they talk about in secret or what they confess, all right, everything that they're putting their hands to is not going how they're expecting it, all right, and we know that eventually that's the hand of the Lord, all right, controlling the situation. Okay, and let's get this real quick, and then we're gonna let them go in it. One of my favorites. Proverbs 21:1, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as rivers of water, he turneth it wheresoever he will. Okay? The king's heart, which that word heart goes into Lahab, all right, which goes into the mind. So the king's mind is in the hand of the Lord. As rivers of water, he turneth it wheresoever he will. Okay? And so, what's the will of the Lord? You may ask then. All right, well, you go over here to what's that, Zephaniah, I believe. No, Slakia. It's I always get these two mixed up. Slakia. It's Zechariah. Damn, I don't know which one is it. I think I just saw it. I probably think about Joel too. I'm all over the place. Forgive me. Yeah, I knew it was. See, Zephaniah 3:8. It says, "Therefore wait upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination." That's the point I wanted to get. For my determination. That's the Lord said. His determination. Do you know what that means? That Lord said, "Hey, nigga, without a doubt, this is you can take it to the bank." Therefore wait upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination. And this also goes to show you that the people that's really truly believing on the Lord, because this is what we use to tell ourselves when we want to get carnal, when we don't want a nigga that get over on us, when we're tired of paying bills, right? When we know that this place ain't nothing but a slow cooker, right? Right? This is what we ultimately believe in. That's why when you go into that word patience, right, it goes into suffering. Okay, and so we're suffering until the Lord comes and save us. But that also goes into the faith. And that's why the Lord is only come to come save the ones that is willing to suffer for him to come. You see how it all makes sense, and it shows your determination on how much faith that the Lord gives you, because you putting yourself out the equation and you taking what comes with living over here in America, and that's a whole lot of disappointment and a whole lot of hours at work and a whole lot of making kids that you can't even control anymore. It's a whole bunch of miscontrolled guidance over here in America, all right, and being vexed with the 50 conversation of the wicked daily. Okay, it's a whole bunch of that going on, all right, but it also shows the level of the faith that his men have, because it also says in the scriptures that the Lord is looking for the ones that have that type of faith. All right, he's not looking for no people just want to say God this and God that and always asking for something. All right, but anyway, Salakia, Zephaniah 3:8, it says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation." And right now we're in the midst of the Lord gathering the kingdoms. They all picking sides. They all choosing sides. The Lord has drawn a land in the sand, and the nations are choosing their sides. So we don't have to wonder, right? If you have understanding, right? If you have wisdom from upon high, right? We can see what the Lord is doing, okay? And just to go to show you that we are in tune with the true and living power, he said that I'm the living power. I tell you the end from the beginning, okay? And so this was already written. But guess what? We're reading it, and it's doing exactly what the scripture says, as they say that they would do right now, okay? In 2026. But again, Zephaniah 3:8, "Therefore wait upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." Okay? And so that's what's going on. All right? And so while our people are being impatient, thinking that the Lord is not working, not knowing that this whole war, all this old different nations, and everybody choosing this and everybody choosing that, that's the Lord working for us. The Lord is doing the heavy lifting. We don't have to do nothing but keep the faith, right? Right? And keep preaching. That's all we have to do. And the Lord is going to do the rest. This is what it means to be a friend of the Heavenly Father, to have a power, right? To fight for you, all right, when you're powerless, okay? And the Lord always requires us to show his faith. What did he say to the Israelites over there in Jericho? He said, do this. What did them people in the town thought when they saw the Israelites marching around, right? Marching around their goddamn kingdom. What they called us crazy. Like, them niggas crazy. What the hell they talking about? Right? And basically what Israel do? Marched around, chanted, right? And the Lord shut that motherfucking place down. All right? Same thing with now. Okay? The Lord love it when these devils, pride, have them thinking that they can fight what's invisible. You know? The Lord love it. What did he say? I harden Pharaoh's heart. I want that nigga to at least throw a punch, goddamn. You know? You know? So there's nothing that these people can do to have you question or should even rock your faith to understand that the Lord got them right where he want them at, baby. All right? And that's why it's a whole bunch of closing of the Strait of Hormuz and all. It's kind of ironic that this whole time they try to make it seem like America is great and all this and all that. America is needed, but come to find out, America is not needed. That Strait of Hormuz is needed, right? Right? Okay.
Like, yeah, global conflict, this is going to impact all of us. We do get oil from Saudi Arabia. So if Saudi Arabia can't get through because of that, here's that blockade right here, Houthi naval blockade into the Red Sea. Like, and they warned people they were going to do this. And I just want people to take a look at the oil inventory right now. This is another thing that's going around. Crude oil only has 43 days of supply left in the United States. That is the lowest inventory in 45 years. And you guys can see the chart here. See how low it is right now? So we're Colonel Wilkerson, we're screwed.
Well, Donald Trump has purposefully done this, whether he knows it or not, and I sometimes think he's demented, so he doesn't know it. But he's purposefully done this, and he's done it so he can play the stock market, and his friends can play the stock markets, and they can make tons of money, which they have been doing, including Jared Kushner and Steve Woodcock. You're right, though. This is looking very grim, and it's looking grim for a number of reasons that most Americans and many people in the world simply don't understand or know about. One of them is what you just pointed out, and that is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in the United States. But another one is the SPR in China. China has actually become, because it is the major oil user in the world, China has become as influential, but in a very different way, as OPEC was in previous decades, when you may recall they brought us to our knees with the Arab oil embargo, and we were, lined up at filling stations trying to get gas. I remember that vividly. I had to go from Fort Monroe to Washington, and I had to get in a line of about 50 cars at one filling station just to get gas. Well, what China's doing now is the same thing, but for a different reason. Because it's the biggest oil user in the world, its demand is incredible. And their Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is gargantuan, has been reduced significantly too. And they are thinking about filling it. And if they do that, if they say, I need to fill the reserve, and they put the cash on the barrelhead, which they can do, then the oil markets are going to be distorted for the opposite reason. Demand in China is going to be so great that it's going to soak up all of the available oil, which
You see? And so now the Lord have these so-called supreme countries, America, China, being showing you that they're not as powerful as people thought they're to be. All right? Just a couple months of the Strait of Hormuz being closed, now all these so-called powerful countries are looking at a dead stop, right? They're looking at their nation coming to a halt over one thing, all right? And so this is the point of these videos, man. The Lord is working for us, man, all right? And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, all right? Because, man, it get hard, all right? You get sidetracked. There's so much going on. It's so many reasons to have you not believing in the Lord or waiting on the Lord, and you trying to make something, trying to do all these different hustles and bustles, all right, just to keep a roof over your head, all right, to keep you distracted, not knowing that the Lord is fighting for you right now, not knowing that everything you thought was important, all right, you don't even understand. You probably wake up tomorrow and it's going to be shut down. That's how it's going to happen, all right, and that means everything, all right. You going to work, you trying to be the best. You trying to do all this in the grand scheme of things, all right? We're only going to live our best life, okay, when these people are out of rulership, okay? And when you understand that we are in our enemy's kingdom, you will want this place to fall, okay? Why would I want a place to continue that charge me property taxes forever? Why would I want to do that? So that means if we lived forever, them niggas got you forever in a perpetual debt. For what? How you even the one that can charge me for this dirt when you don't make dirt? They don't even make sense. You pay somebody for a product that they help generate or they help make. You don't pay another motherfucker for what God created. Nigga, you can't make dirt. You can't make grass, nigga. You can't make birds. You can't make the things that God gives, and the so-called white men always found a way to tax it. So that old patriotic spirit is really for the Edomites only, because this is their kingdom. So of course they supposed to try to keep it going as long as possible. But who would have thought? Who would have thought that a single port, all right, and things not coming out that port for a long period of time could break the other countries down? Who would have known that? The Heavenly Father would know that, because He's the one who set these countries up. All right, so let's get the scripture. First Thessalonians 5, verse 2. It says, "For you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord it so cometh as a thief in the night." All right, so the Lord is planning on catching a lot of you high-minded, proud, spoiled, demonic ass Americans. He hoping to catch you off guard. No, he ain't hoping. He gonna catch you off guard, right? And that's why the bread and circus right now over here in America is at its highest point right now. You got so much football talk. You got so much Olympic gold medalist shit. You got the female basketball players. You got the basketball players. They all are in the algorithm. They all everywhere, right? Trying to keep you distracted. While the most important, one of the most important issues in life dealing with the oil, because the oil is how the food get here. It's how you get to work. It's how things get moved around through the machinery, right? While that is study getting lower and lower and lower, your leaders is not telling you to prepare, or this may happen, or a month from now we may have to shut down for about a month. They ain't even giving you that. All right, and so it's all of the Lord, man, because you're not watching, you're not paying attention. Okay, that's why it says what? For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. What happened when a thief come into your home at nighttime and you sleep? He caught you off guard. You are unaware. And that's what the people over in America are. They uninformed and they're unaware at what's really is about to go down in the next couple of weeks. All right? They are unaware. They are unaware that in a minute your job ain't even about to matter. In a minute, what you thought was important is not important at all. It's going to be water, right? Right? It's going to go from something that you didn't even really think about to have. Is going to be what you wake up and what you go search for, okay? And it's needed, because you people pride has been on 1,000 over here in America, all right? But it says, for when they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they should not escape. Right, man? Okay, and so that's the point, because they're going to keep presenting to you as if things are not out of hand or out of control. They're going to keep repeating the same news cycles to make you think that Trump and them know what they doing. Man, the folks don't know what the hell they doing. All right, because we just read in Proverbs 21:1 that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. All right, and so they're going to send your ass down this destructive mode, because guess what? That's where the Lord wants you at. That's what the Lord has plans for this place. So, yeah, like, they're totally right. All right, but guess what? The people still don't care. The people still not going to pay attention, because what? It's going to come as a thief in the night. It's supposed to catch you off guard. What the Lord is about to do to you Americans, it's supposed to catch you off guard. You're supposed to think that ain't nothing about to happen, and then it's going to happen. That's what the Lord wants. Dumbass people, man.
All of the available oil, which you just pointed out, is going away rather rapidly. And China has coal reserves, and it has the greatest incredible complex of renewables in the world now. So China is sitting in the catbird seat, really sitting in the catbird seat. It has all of these advantages right now going for it, on top of which the latest report on World Opinion, you may have seen it, it says that China is rising in the world's opinion and the United States is sinking dramatically in the world's opinion.
There you go. There you go. I'm going to close it out. I didn't want to make it too long, right? There you go. Because guess what? Our people looking at what they have obtained and what they're possibly going to lose in this world, which is nothing but corruption anyway. Even if you do got something, you still corrupted because you're dying every day. I don't give a damn how much money you got. You still got death to look forward to. What we're promised and what we're looking for is having everything, right, and never dying again. It's the ultimate goal. You see, that's the ultimate goal. I'm going to be able to have kids and enjoy them forever. That's what we want. You people just trying to get 20 years of living in a uppity neighborhood where you still got to deal with HOAs and cut your grass on time and shit like that, you know, with some old wrinkly, prickle skin ass white person trying to tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing in your own neighborhood after you paid $1 million for a half a house. You know, that's the result of the America that we in now. Why the fuck would you not want this place to go down? When your leaders lie to you every chance they get, they feed you poison in every box you open. Why would you not want this place to go down? Because you don't have any faith, because you don't know God. You don't even think there is a God. So guess what? At this point, you're just worthless. You're not even good for the maker. You're not even good to worship, which is why everybody is here. You feel like you should be worshiping your damn self. So guess what? You're going to be part of the punishment. You can be part of when this place fall, you know, like when a building fall, it's a pile of rubber. people never really saw a building fall, but once a building fall, and when it's tall enough, all right, the things that's surrounded below is covered, all right, with the same material that was in the air, okay? And so a lot of people depend on this building. So there's going to be a lot of people in the rubble, all right, when this place fall. But real quick, last one, we're going to close it on out. Second address, 6:56, verse 56. It says, Salakia, I want to get straight to the point. Yeah, I'm going to go to verse 57. It says, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have been reputed as nothing, has begun to be lords over us and to devour us, all right? And that's what America has been, okay? It has been used as a hub of these white people being able to manipulate and use Jake over here, all right? Because, again, our talents is what make the world watch, but we don't control, all right, the programming over here in America. We just a intricate piece, all right, to make it entertaining, okay, to make it be the place that everybody else want to be like, all right. But it says, but we thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover are given unto their hands, right, man? Because we was what? Chattel slaves, right? We was brought over here in America, to America in these sardine ships, all right, butthole naked, all right, laying on top of each other with feces and throw up. Don't forget how you got here, nigga, all right? We didn't take a class and had the pledge leads to America and all that old shit. We was brought over here against our will, okay? If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we now possess an inheritance with the world? How long should this endure? Okay? And guess what? You're not on no type of wisdom until you get to asking those questions. You are not on no type of wisdom until you ask those type of questions. So with that, I pray that's what's edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash, and give a double honor to the elders and to the apostles of GMS Great Millstone. Shalom.